And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I'm not looking at I should be doing.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
And I mean, Big and Pac had everybody's attention, so it was hard for him to become Jay-Z, like the best, the top, like, you know what I mean? Nobody could with him. Like, it would have been difficult if they was around.
You know, there's an old saying that everything done in the dark eventually comes to light, and that might be true for Jay-Z. This guy has been involved in all sorts of shady dealings quietly. But now, thanks to people like 50 Cent who are not afraid to shine a spotlight on hidden truths, we might be getting closer to uncovering what's really been going on. Have you ever noticed how everyone around Jay-Z gets exposed, but somehow he always manages to stay clean? It's like all his associates turn out to have scandals, and he remains untouched, looking like a saint. Then there's the eerie pattern of rappers who are potentially ahead of Jay-Z, but they tragically pass away, and suddenly Jay-Z's career skyrocket. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? No such thing as too many coincidences, right? Jaguar Wright once questioned how many times can someone get lucky before it starts to look suspicious. That's kind of what's happening with Jay-Z.
If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
There are rumors floating around that he might have a hand in exposing all these celebrities' secrets, protecting his own reputation while doing so. The big gossip is that Jay-Z has someone in his circle who's known for being a snitch, and that's Desiree Perez. She's a big name in his company, but here's the juicy part. Back in her past, Desiree got caught with a massive amount of in Miami, like 35 kilos of from Griselda Blanco, kind of massive. Instead of taking the fall, she cut a deal with the feds, flipped, and started wearing wires to help take down some big players in the world. In the hip-hop culture, where defying authority is almost celebrated, being a snitch is seen as a huge betrayal. I mean, Desiree Perez wasn't just any informant. She played a major role in some high-stakes DEA operations. That's why there's a lot of buzz right now about Jay-Z possibly playing a bigger game behind the scenes, especially when it comes to other big players in the music industry like Diddy. People are really starting to wonder if he's the one pulling the strings. Think about it, Diddy's been a major player for ages, but suddenly, all sorts of scandals and old stories are popping up out of nowhere. Old videos are resurfacing, his house gets raided, things are looking pretty intense for him. While it's true that Diddy's past isn't spotless, and maybe he's facing some karma, the timing and severity of these events have folks speculating if someone with a lot of power is targeting him to knock his empire down a peg. And a lot of fingers are pointing at Jay-Z Jaguar Wright, who's always been pretty outspoken, has thrown her 2 cents in, claiming Jay-Z set up Diddy.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Then you've got Demon Wilson adding his perspective with a really interesting analogy about overseers on plantations. He said these overseers had power given by the plantation owners, and they used it to keep the slaves in check, mainly because the overseers wanted to keep their status secure. As long as the slaves were productive and making money, the overseers' positions were safe. Wilson's comparing this to the way the entertainment industry operates. As long as celebrities like Diddy are making money for the big shots, they can do pretty much anything. But the moment they stop bringing in the cash or start causing problems, it seems like those in power are ready to show them who's boss. This comparison is pretty heavy, but paints a clear picture of the kind of cutthroat tactics that might be going on behind the scenes. If these theories are true, it shows a side of the industry that's all about power plays and maintaining control, with Jay-Z potentially at the helm of some major maneuvers.
No matter what they do, no matter how
right.
vile it is, the gatekeepers will make it go away. As long as you are making money for the powers that be, you can do anything short of somebody watching you somebody. The moment you stop making the money for them, you have no intrinsic.
Also, in the same interview, Jaguar Wright name drops names like DeHaven, Big L, Dame Dash, and R. Kelly, suggesting that Jay-Z has been trying to eliminate competition and be the last man standing in the hip-hop world. She paints a picture of Jay-Z as someone who's not just trying to stay on top, but actively trying to ensure he's the only one there, even if it means pushing out those who were once his closest allies.
He lined up DeHaven, he lined up Big L, he lined up Dame Dash, stole his life identity and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
starting with DeHaven, who was super close to Jay-Z back in the day when they were just a couple of guys from the Marcy houses getting by any way they could, even if it meant bending the law. They were thick as thieves, but as soon as things got real and DeHaven faced a federal conspiracy charge, Jay-Z was nowhere to be found. DeHaven even hinted that Jay might have been the one who snitched on him, leading to his arrest. Imagine that, going from best friends to suspects of betrayal. They didn't come to check on me. They didn't follow up with my family, he said of Jay and another friend, Emery. I got word from Jay that, yo, don't worry about it, I got you. DeHaven said that when he was finally able to reach Jay, the rapper said he would help with him with a legal team, but he didn't hear back from him. Other people began copping to pleas and leaving, but DeHaven decided to keep his mouth shut, but his head down, and take his case to trial. He said he had to use a court-appointed attorney, but in the end, it may have been what saved his life.
Like, they didn't come and check on me. They didn't follow up with my family. Cause you sitting in there in that cell, and you ain't getting no feedback. The case is still going. And the case is still going, and you saying like, well, where's the help at?
Then there's Dame Dash. Everyone knows Dame and Jay-Z were partners in the music, building an empire together. But things got messy, real messy. Rumor has it that the rift started because of Aaliyah. Jay supposedly had a thing for her, but she ended up with Dame instead. That love triangle might have been what soured things between Jay and Dame, leading to their professional split and a lot of bad blood. Then Big L's story has got people talking about these wild theories that Jay-Z's been somehow dealing with rappers who get in his way of success. Jaguar Wright throws it back to when Jay-Z was just another rapper in New York, trying to make his mark. According to her back then, he was hanging out with Big L, a rapper who was about to hit it big. But just as Big L was set to shine, things took a turn, and suddenly Jay-Z's career started taking off instead. Jaguar thinks that's a bit too convenient to be just a coincidence.
He showed up as that was with Big L.
Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on. And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z.
Then you've got the whole situation with the legends, Notorious Big and Tupac. Remember how Jay-Z was getting pretty tight with Biggie and Diddy? Well, after Biggie and Pac tragically passed away, the rap game was pretty much up for grabs, and it turned into a bit of a power struggle. Jay-Z managed to come out looking like the next big thing. Jaguar points out that Jay-Z's rise amidst all these tragedies doesn't exactly seem like just luck. Jaguar raises a valid point. How many times can someone get lucky before you start questioning if it's really just luck?
Biggie died, Tupac died. There was the fight between who was the top rapper now, Nas and Jay-Z, and then the next thing you know, Nas has a nervous breakdown. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
Even Cassidy dropped some comments in an interview, hinting that there might be some truth to the idea that Jay-Z's career got a major boost from the untimely demises of Biggie and Tupac. Cassidy breaks it down, saying Biggie and Pac weren't just making their own hits, they were inspiring a whole bunch of others to create classic. According to him, a ton of artists making good music today probably wouldn't have done it if they hadn't heard Biggie and Pac doing their thing back in the day. He throws Jay-Z into the mix, saying we wouldn't be who he is now without the influence of Biggie and Pac. Cassidy's basically saying these guys changed the game, not just with their own catalogs, but by inspiring a whole generation of artists to step up their game.
How would Jay-Z have become Jay-Z that he is if it wasn't for for Pac and Big being out? You know what I'm saying?
The host throws a question at Cassidy, asking if Biggie and Pac kicking the bucket kind of paved the way for Jay-Z. Cassidy agrees, saying it was a business move. Big and Pac had everyone's attention, making it a tough road for Jay-Z to claim the title of the best in the game. It would have been a real challenge if Pac had stuck around, you know what I mean? Cassidy points out that there were other super talented artists in the mix, and with Big and Pac in the scene, it was a competitive battleground. Once Big and Pac were out of the picture, it was kind of like a clear path for Jay-Z and Nas to duke it out for the top spot. Cassidy spills the beans on how the rap game shifted gears after Biggie and Pac's departure. Jay-Z didn't have to go toe-to-toe with those heavyweights anymore because Biggie and Pac were out of the picture.
You know what I mean? Big and Pac had everybody's attention, so it was hard for him to become Jay-Z, like the best, the top, like, you know what I mean? Nobody could with him. Like, it would have been difficult if they was around. And that's why you see them go through what they went through, because you got to fight for that position. But he didn't have to, like, fight with Pac or Big no more because they wasn't around.
And when you look at Jay-Z's connections with guys like Diddy and R. Kelly, who've both faced their fair share of scandals, it's weird how Jay-Z has managed to dodge any major dirt sticking to him. Back in the day, Jay wasn't exactly an overnight success story like some of his buddies in the music business. Meanwhile, R. Kelly was already a big name in the R&B scene, and Diddy was making waves in the record label world. Eventually, their paths crossed, and Jay ended up collaborating with both of them on various projects. Now, Jay and R. Kelly were tight, both inside and outside the studio. They hit up the same parties, shopped at the same spots, and even shared a few romantic interests. But here's where things get sticky. Since R. Kelly's been called out for being a creep, folks are starting to wonder if Jay might have been in on it too. There's talk floating around that Jay wasn't just turning a blind eye to R. Kelly's antics. Some people are speculating he was right there in the mix, maybe even encouraging and covering up for him. Take Aaliyah, for example. R. Kelly supposedly married her when she was just 15. Yeah, that's a major no-no because legally she couldn't sign any documents for herself, needed a parent or guardian for that. But R. Kelly managed to pull some strings and got paperwork that said Aaliyah was 18 and cool to consent to marriage. Fast forward, the truth came out, and turns out R. Kelly, well into his 20s at the time, had forged documents to marry a child. The marriage got annulled, but Hollywood's got some seriously messed up dealings, doesn't it? Here's the crazy part. Somehow, the dude managed to avoid prison. I know, it sounds like 1,000 laws got broken, right? But you know how it goes in Hollywood. If you've got enough money and influence, you can make things disappear and get away with all sorts of stuff. Now imagine if this whole mess went down in 2024. R. Kelly would probably get hit with the cancel train. Massive social media uproar, investigations for forging documents and marrying a child, and a swift exit from the industry. But it was the 90s, a different time. Here's the thing, Jay-Z didn't cancel R. Kelly or even keep his distance. Nope, they went on to drop a joint album and even hit the road together on tour. Jaguar Wright chimed in and thought it was all kinds of weird and couldn't figure out how Jay-Z was cool with getting involved with R. Kelly. I mean, looking back, Jay-Z seemed totally fine with R. Kelly being with a minor, even marrying her. Makes you question his morals, right? In fact, back in 2002, Nas dropped the hint that Jay-Z was hip to what R. Kelly was up to with underage girls, including Aaliyah. He spilled the beans to Wendy Williams on the radio when a tape of R. Kelly with a younger girl surfaced. He said, "I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about and made fun of it and show pictures of Jay hanging out. You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come into the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You're gonna tell me he didn't see no 14-year-old girl come into the vicinity."
You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. No. You can't tell me that it wasn't on that album, that he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity.
When R. Kelly got hit with those terrible charges, Jay-Z tried to act like they were never buddies. There were even rumors that Jay-Z had a major crush on Aaliyah, and everyone in the industry, including her man Dame Dash, knew about it. Dame even spilled the beans to Page Six, saying he tried his hardest. He said, "I did not mean to fall in love with Aaliyah, she was just that cool. But you know, we were both going hard, everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah, it was not just Jay." According to Dash, he didn't even know Jay-Z had feelings for Aaliyah before he started dating her. He added, "I did not know Jay was trying to holler at her, but then it just happened like that. He was trying, I was trying, everybody was trying. He was going hard." Now two buddies battling it out for the same girl, total disaster waiting to happen. Jealousy kicked in fast, especially since Aaliyah was juggling dates with both of them. But here's the twist, Aaliyah started favoring Dame, and Jay-Z wasn't feeling it. Now we all know Jay-Z doesn't handle losses well. It all went south when Aaliyah and Dame took things up a notch, and Jay-Z got the scoop at a 4th of July bash they all hit up. Jaguar Wright spilled the tea, backing up Dame's story. Allegedly, Jay-Z got his revenge game strong by wrecking Dame's business and him out, all because Dame got the girl.
I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. But to do it the way he did it, but maybe that was because he girl that didn't want.
Then, Jay-Z shifted his focus from Aaliyah to Beyonce, aiming to be part of Hollywood's ultimate power couple. Problem was, for that dream to happen, he needed Beyonce to be the top lady in Hollywood. Now, don't get me wrong, Beyonce was destined for greatness with or without Jay-Z. But rewind to when they first crossed paths, Beyoncé had just stepped out of Destiny's Child and was hustling to make her mark. Meanwhile, Aaliyah was already carving out her own lane, ready to conquer the world. But then tragedy struck, and Aaliyah left a void at the top. According to Jaguar, wright, that wasn't just a coincidence. It paved the way for Beyoncé to step into the spotlight. But here's the interesting thing. There's some talk that Aaliyah's passing might not have been a freak accident, but a well-orchestrated plan. Let's do a quick recap on that. Right after the crash, rumors claim that the small plane was overloaded by a few hundred pounds. Plus, the weight wasn't spread out evenly, making it a hot mess to control once it took off. It turns out the pilot wasn't on the up and up either. Dude reportedly faked his license and was all messed up, and who knows what else. When the accident went down, Aaliyah wasn't even keen on hopping on that plane. She straight up voiced her worries about getting on the plane. There was even a witness. Kathy Lindoli spilled the details in her book, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah. There's this 13-year-old Kingsley Russell whose fam runs a taxi hustle in the Abaco Islands. Back on August 25th, 2001, he's rolling with Aaliyah as her squad heads to the airport for her flight back to the US. And when Aaliyah peeped the plane, she was like, no, turned around and headed back to the cab, as told by Kingsley. After Aaliyah backed out and headed to the cab, someone from her crew came back to check on her. Kingsley spilled the tea, saying Aaliyah kept voicing her worries about the plane. And apparently they handed her a sleeping pill, and she knocked out. Even with her earlier concerns, they still carried her from the taxi onto the plane while she was passed out. Now, fans always say Jay-Z and R. Kelly are in the know about what really went down with Aaliyah. And considering their tight friendship with Diddy, he might have the scoop too. Maybe even cracked a laugh and carried on. When karma hit R. Kelly, Jay-Z's PR worked overtime to act like they weren't buds at all. And now it seems Jay-Z is doing the same thing to Diddy. I mean, we know how close they are. Remember when Diddy posted that only his mom and Jay-Z can call him Sean? Plus, there's still a photo of Jay-Z on Diddy's website, and Diddy's been giving Jay major props for stepping into the shoes of legends like Biggie and Tupac. Back in 2022, during a Twitter Space celebration for Biggie's 50th birthday on Tidal, Diddy couldn't stop singing Jay's praises, especially for holding down the rap scene after we lost Biggie and Pac. And remember when Jay-Z teamed up with the NFL and caught some heat? Diddy had his back, supporting him in public. He hopped on Instagram to say, Hob is one of the greatest to ever do it. He has been there for more than anybody from the hip-hop culture, including me. He has always been so selfless and fights for other people. We as a people cannot be divided and conquered at this time. Seems like there's some serious bromance going on. Jay-Z even narrated a video montage for Diddy's Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2022 BET Awards, calling him an inspiration to all those kids starting from scratch. But here's where it gets tricky. People are claiming Jay-Z might throw Diddy under the bus because of all the heat he's getting from the public, when he is also doing the very same thing Diddy did. This whole saga is just mind-blowing. With all these allegations swirling around and quite a few people stepping forward to call Jay-Z out, it really gets you thinking, could there be some truth to all this? And here's something to chew on. Maybe Jay-Z is using the sterling public image of his superstar wife to cover up some not-so-great deeds. But it's a good thing we've got people like 50 Cent who are relentless in their pursuit to uncover the truth. Hopefully, we'll see some real accountability sooner rather than later. What's your take on all this drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.